Saint Justin, also known as Justin Martyr, was an early Christian apologist and philosopher whose life and writings played a significant role in the development of Christian theology and apologetics. Born around 100 AD in Flavianopolis, modern day Nablus in the West Bank, he was Greek speaking Gentile and came from a pagan family. His extensive education in philosophy and his conversion to Christianity marked his path to becoming one of the more foremost defenders of the Christian faith in the second century. Justin was born into a pagan family and pursued an education that encompassed various schools of Greek philosophy, including Stoicism, Aristotelianism, Pythagoreanism, and Platonicism. Dissatisfied with all of these philosophies, he eventually found a profound sense of truth in the Christian faith around the year 130 AD after encountering it with an elderly Christian man who spoke to him about the prophets and the teachings of Christ. After his conversion, Justin saw Christianity as the true philosophy and dedicated his life to teaching and defending the Christian faith. He continued to wear his philosopher's cloak, which symbolizes his intellectual background and commitment to truth, and he traveled extensively to spread and defend the Christian teachings. Justin is best known for his apologetic works, which aim to explain and defend Christianity to both the Roman authorities and the general public. His two major extensive works were his first apology, which was an address to the Emperor Antonius Pius and his sons. This work argues for the rationality of the Christian faith and pleads for legal protections for Christians against unjust persecutions. Justin defends Christians against charges of atheism, immorality, and sedation, and explains the Christian beliefs and practices. The second work is simply the second apology. In this continuation of the first apology and addresses the unjust treatment of Christians, it includes further arguments against the accusations brought against Christians and emphasizes the moral and ethical superiority of the Christian way of life. Additionally, Justin wrote the Dialogue to Trypho, a detailed account of a debate between himself and a Jewish interlocutor named Trypho. This work is essentially the source of understanding of early Christian and Jewish relations and provides insight into Justin's theological arguments and his use of the Hebrew scriptures to support Christian claims. Justin's fervent advocacy for Christianity ultimately led to his arrest. Around 165 AD, during the reign of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, Julius was brought before the Roman authorities. He was given the opportunity to renounce his faith, but he refused. As a result, he was condemned to death and executed by beheading, earning him the title of martyr. St. Justin's martyrs' contribution to the Christian theology and his defense of the faith have had a lasting impact on Christianity. His works provide a valuable window into the beliefs and practices of early Christians and their interactions with the surrounding pagan culture. He is considered one of the most foremost early Christian apologists and is recognized as a saint by both the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, with his feast day being celebrated on June 1st. Justin's efforts to articulate the resemblance of the the reasonableness of the Christian faith and his willingness to die for his beliefs have made him an enduring figure in the history of Christianity, revered, revered as both a philosopher and a martyr. Saint Justin Martyr has been depicted in various forms of Christian art over the centuries. though he is less frequently portrayed than some other saints. His iconography typically emphasizes his role as a philosopher and apologist, often depicting him with symbols of learning and martyrdom. Here are some notable examples of art depicting Saint Justin the Martyr, excuse me. Justin is often shown wearing the philosopher's robe or pallium, symbolizing his background in Greek philosophy and his role as a Christian thinker. He's also frequently depicted holding a scroll or a book, representing his writings and contributions to Christian apologetics. Symbols of his martyrdom, such as a palm branch or a sword, are often included to highlight his ultimate sacrifice for his faith. The cross often appears in his iconography, representing his faith and martyrdom. Saint Justin, martyr by Theophanes the Cretan, who's a 16th century artist. This icon, created by the renowned Cretan painter Theophanes, is housed in the Stavronikita monastery on Mount Athos. It depicts Justin in a traditional Byzantine style, wearing a philosopher's robe and holding a scroll, signifying his contribution to Christian literature and thought. Saint Justin Martyr by Fr. George S. Papadeas, who's a 20th century artist. This contemporary icon shows Saint Justin in a more modern Byzantine style. He is depicted holding a scroll with the opening lines of his first apology, emphasizing his role as an apologist. And there's a halo and philosopher's robe signifying his sanctity and scholarly background. The Martyrdom of Saint Justin by Fra Angelico, who's a 15th century artist. Although Fra Angelico did not specifically create a work solely dedicated to Saint Justin, his general style influenced how saints were portrayed during the Renaissance. If a depiction existed, it would likely follow his serene and spiritually focused style, emphasizing Justin's calm acceptance of his martyrdom. Saint Justin Martyr by Brother Simeon, a contemporary artist. His modern icon, created by Brother Simeon, is a contemporary iconographer, shows Justin in a vibrant colors scheme with a philosopher's robe and scroll. The background often includes symbolic elements such as a cross or the instruments of his martyrdom. Finally, Saint Justin Martyr from the Menologion of Basil II. The artist from this particular work is unknown, as this is a 10th century Byzantine manuscript. This miniature from the Menologion of Basil II, an illuminated manuscript, depicts Justin with a book in hand, symbolizing his writings. The manuscripts provides one of the earlier visual representations of Justin, aligning with the Byzantine artistic conventions. In these works, St. Justin is consistently depicted with attributes that reflect his dual identity as a philosopher and a martyr. The philosopher's robes underscores his intellectual pursuits, while the scroll or book highlights his writing contributions to Christian theology. The inclusion of martyrdom symbols like the palm branch or sword serves to remind viewers of his ultimate sacrifice. The use of the halo in these depictions signifies his sanctity and revered status within the Christian tradition. Overall, the iconography of St. Justice Martyr captures his scholarly background, his apologetic works, and his steadfastness in his faith, offering a comprehensive visual narrative of his life and legacy. Saint Justin Martyr is primarily known for his philosophical works and defense of the Christianity faith rather than performing miracles. Unlike many saints in the Christian tradition, there are no well documented or widely recognized miracles attributed to him. His significance in the history of Christianity lies more in his intellectual contributions and his martyrdom rather than his miraculous acts. Justin's most notable contribution was as an apologetic work, especially his first and second apology, which were addressed to the Roman authorities. These writings were intended to defend Christians against persecution and explain Christian beliefs in terms that would be understandable to a pagan audience. In this work, Justin attempts to demonstrate the truth of Christianity through a dialogue with a Jewish scholar named Trypho. This text is significant for its early use of the Old Testament to argue the validity of Christian claims, a method that influenced later Christian theology. Justin's title, Martyr, indicates that his main claim to sainthood is his willingness to pass away for his faith. He was arrested, tried, and executed in Rome around 165 AD during the reign of Emperor Marcus Aurelius. His steadfastness in his faith of death was seen as a powerful witness to the truth of Christianity and inspired many others. The early Christian period, especially in the second century, was marked by a focus on theological defense and the spread of Christian doctrine. The emphasis went on surviving persecution and articulating the faith and gaining converts through reasoned arguments rather than miraculous displays. The lack of recorded miracles by Justin could also be due to the nature of historical documentation from the era. Many early Christian writings were lost, and the focus of surviving texts is often on doctrinal and apologetic content rather than miraculous events. St. Justin's legacy is deeply rooted in his intellectual and theological contributions rather than his miraculous deeds. He is remembered for his reasoned defense of Christianity and his willingness to suffer martyrdom. His works laid in the groundwork for later Christian apologetics and were instrumental in articulating the faith in a hostile cultural environment. While there are no specific recorded miracles associated with Justin Martyr, his life and writings have had a miraculous influence in other senses. They helped to establish and spread the Christian faith during his formative years. His martyrdom also serves as a powerful testament to his faith and conviction, inspiring generations of Christians to remain steadfast in their belief. Saint Justin Martyr, as an early Christian saint who lived in the second century, was recognized as a saint before the formal process of canonization was established by the Catholic Church. Canonization, as it is understood today, did not come into formal practice until much later in the Church's history. Justin was venerated as a saint soon after his martyrdom, around 165 AD. The early Christian community recognized his sanctity and his role as a martyr. This recognition was based on his steadfast faith and his significant contributions to Christian theology, as well as his ultimate sacrifice. In the early Christian church, martyrs were often venerated almost immediately after their passing because they were seen as having shown the ultimate witness to their faith by passing away for it. This veneration was usually local and community based, arising from the grassroots level among Christians who knew or had heard or been influenced by the martyr. The formal process of canonization as we know it today began to take shape in the early Middle Ages. By the 10th century, the Church had started to develop a more structured process and eventually centralized by the Pope. In 993 AD, Pope John XV became the first pope to formally canonize a saint, uh, Saint Ulrich of Augsburg. However, saints from earlier periods, like Justin Martyr, were considered part of the pre congregational saints, meaning they were recognized by the Church before this formal process was established. St. Justin Martyr's feast day was established as June 1st. This date commemorates his martyrdom and has been observed by both the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church. Through history, the Church has continued to acknowledge Justin's contributions and martyrdom. He is cited in various ecclesiastical documents and writings as an important figure in the early Church. The the Roman Martyrology, the official list of recognized saints, includes Saint Justin Martyr, affirming his long-standing veneration within the Church. The Eastern Orthodox Church also honors Justin Martyr, recognizes his contributions to Christian theology and his steadfast witness to the faith. St. Justin's influence has been significant in the development of Christian thought. His works, such as the First and Second Apology and the Dialogue with Trypho, are studied for their theological insights and historical importance. The early and continued recognition of his sanctity reflects the profound impact he had on the Church and Christian theology. While there is no specific date, time, or formal ceremony that canonized Saint Justin Martyr in the way later saints were canonized, his recognition as a saint emerged from the early Christian community's veneration of his life and martyrdom. This grassroots recognition, later affirmed by the broader church, established his place in the pantheon of saints, with his feast day on June 1st serving as a formal acknowledgement of his enduring legacy.